Good afternoon. No, I've really made a hash of that. Please forget what I've just said to you. Good morning, and welcome to this magnificent sunrise here in the western fringes of the Kruger National Park. This is Safari Live.
Ready.
Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Well, I suppose it is good afternoon to some of you somewhere in the world, hopefully, perhaps in Fiji. I think it's probably the afternoon there. Good morning again to all of you. It's lovely to have you with us here on this chilly morning, 60 degrees Fahrenheit or so, 16 degrees Celsius. For that, at least for us, it's quite cold. It's not freezing. Let me not try and make you feel sorry for us. It's a lovely spring morning. My name is James Henry. On camera today is David. There's a beautiful cycling gloves, David. Well done. Or they're skateboarding gloves. Just cycling gloves, yes. David looks like a skateboarder, you see, everybody. On the other vehicle, Jamie Patterson is driving around. She's heading towards where Herbert has already found Tingana and his consort, Shadow. We're going to head down to where Karula had her kill yesterday. I doubt there's anything left there. The fighting that was going on over it probably has resulted in it being dropped onto the ground, stolen by hyenas, or perhaps stolen by the wild dogs. I just thought I heard or saw something there. Okay, so that's the plan for the morning. And in case you didn't see or weren't with us yesterday, an unbelievable sighting yesterday of 5 leopards we had at the tree where Karula had treed an adult impala. Just nearby, Tingana was mating with Shadow. The 2 cubs were there, and then Tingana got whiff of the kill and he moved towards there. Karula and Shadow had a fight with each other. The cubs disappeared. Then a hyena arrived. Then, at the end of the drive yesterday, as Jamie will share with you, I've no doubt, wild dogs pitched up and put the the leopards up into the trees. We don't know where the cubs have gone, so let's head straight across to Jamie, who is with the Shadow and the Tingana.
Good morning and welcome to an incredible start to the Sunrise Safari, and already we have 2 leopards wandering off into the distance, Shadow and Tingana. I'm going to fill you in a little bit as to what happened yesterday and the drama that we had. But for now, let's just try and keep up with them. They're going into a very, very difficult area. Sure, this is where it gets tricky. There's a good chance that we could lose them in this particular block. But what a way to start. Good morning to you. Oh, goodness. My name is Jamie, and this morning I have Brian on camera with me. And of course, the Thumb attached as well, but a little bit occupied right now. Well done, Thumb, making an appearance despite the tricky situation. Now, yesterday, dramatic scenes on our sunset safari, from Tingana and Shadow popping in to steal the lovely Queen of Juma's kill. We have no idea where the cubs went. Then there was a hyena on the scene, and then there was 3 wild dogs on the scene, completely unexpected. They came racing out of nowhere just as we were finishing off the sunset safari. All in all, made for an incredibly exciting drive. And I'll tell you a little bit, because Dave and myself stayed there for a little while after the end of the sunset safari, after it got too dark, just sitting and listening. And I'll tell you, oh my goodness, deja vu. I've done this before with this pair in this particular area. There's quite a few elephants around as well. I thought I saw some. Just pop us here for a second. So James, I know, is heading to where the kill was last seen. We don't know what happened to the kill. Most likely, Are we gonna mate? Shadow's trying to seduce him, but Tingana, he's on the mood to move as quickly as possible. So we don't know what happened to the kill. Last night, Tingana was sitting precariously perched on top of the marula, enjoying his stolen impala that was Karula's. So there's much confusion here, and for new viewers, I'm very sorry because it's all very complicated, and I will explain to you exactly how the dynamics all work in a moment. Watch out there, Brian. I want to whip you. There you go. Oh, this is landmine territory. Not actual landmines, obviously, just to clarify. I mean artfark holes. So what we have here for new viewers is a mating pair of leopards. Now, typically leopards will mate regularly and frequently at this time of morning, but I think that Tingana's on his way somewhere, and as a result doesn't have the time or the energy for Shadow's attentions. Shadow, by the way, now back, there's old vehicle tracks here, now back in her territorial area, rather than Karula's, which she was in yesterday. This is going to hurt. Hold on, everyone. Oh, not so bad. Shadow desperately trying to get his attention, and Tingana just not playing ball. They're going straight into a really tricky area. Tingana stopping to mark. Not even mark, actually, just relieve himself. He's not scraping his feet. We're going into a wall of monkey orange in a moment, but we're okay for now. Oh, Shadow's flopped down. This is how mating leopard courtship works. The male wanders around and the female follows along behind him, attempting to sort of kittishly rub herself up against him. He's busy marking his territory. Up she gets, and there she goes after him. Okay. Let's catch up with our spots disappearing off into the bushes. And then, of course, I'm sure you're all wondering about Karula and her cubs. Since yet, Karula, by the way, for new viewers, is the mother of this female leopard that we're with at the moment. And she was involved in the sighting yesterday in a big way as well. And I will explain a little bit more to you in a moment, and I'm sure James will be able to help you out with a summary of yesterday as well, since he was also involved in the whole sighting. Now let's head across to him for now while I attempt to catch up with these cats.
Is that not glorious, everybody? Look at that. African sun just come up over the horizon in a blazing ball of copper and orange. Oh, stunning. Now, while you look at that, I'm just going to tell you where we are. We've come to the position where the cubs and Karula and the kill were yesterday morning. Herbert is around here on foot. He's just trying to ascertain from the tracks what's gone on here during the night. Very difficult to tell. Shadow obviously quite severely injured at this stage. Don't worry, they are so resilient, I don't think it's going to have that much of a deleterious effect on her. But we are going to go and check the southern boundary while Herbert fossicks about here in the block and tries to see what he can find. Isn't that just the most stunning picture? He's pointing towards the south. Is Herbert telling us that perhaps they have gone excuse me, towards the southern boundary? There, you're going to get a picture of Herbert going through the rising sun as he goes off to see if perhaps he can't find those wonderful leopards for us. Very nice, David. You're very artistic.
Thank you.
Yes, well, you know. Okay, we're going to do pretty much what Herbert's doing now, with a little bit more decorum, because of course Herbie is able to go off at a great and vast speed, while we, with you on the back, must drive with a little bit more decorum. A quite astounding day, as I said yesterday, and also we had, of course, the little lion cubs and the rest of the lions being chased by elephants from the damn pan, which was quite amusing. There's now, of course, a very awkwardly placed stick in the way. Okay, let's go back to Jamie with the leopards, and we'll see if we can find the others.
What a beautiful scene first thing in the morning. Shadow's so funny. She's sort of half walking and half swinging her hips into him as she walks along. Look how distressed Tingana looks. I think he wants to put as much space between himself and those wild dogs. See, he is not interested in her attentions at all. They've been spotted by the impala. For those of you hearing those sharp calls, that's impala alarm calling at the presence of the leopard. See how Tingana is constantly stopping, looking back over his shoulder. So the female's instinct is to mate with the male, no matter what. His instinct is to get out of dodge, so to speak, and away from those wild dogs. Obviously the kill has been lost. Otherwise he would still be there. Isn't he beautiful? Sorry everybody for the coughing. Alright, hold on tight. We're almost at the boundary of Arethusa, which will mean relatively soon that it is the end of our sighting, since there are other vehicles that will want to come and join us. I have let the guides in the west know. Oh my goodness gracious. Marilee, I'm sorry about all of the noise and the drama as we go through here. Yes, Shadow and Tingana have mated before many times. We've been able to witness it. In terms of offspring, we actually think that there's a very good chance. Watch out there, Brian, that's going to hurt you. It's got thorns. Oh my goodness, you ready? We actually think that Tingana was the father of at least Shadow's previous cub, as well as Sindile, the young male with the collar around his neck and an interesting tale to tell. I'm just trying to get onto the game drive channel. Quick, let's get around. Let's go onto the road. We'll have a clearer spot there, quite literally. There we go. Sean, we're a bit further north than Zebra Drive Junction. Keep coming north along Triple M. Oh, there's a hippo. There was a hippo. It's all happening here on Triple M. Oh, they've just popped out now.
Are you on Triple M now, Jamie?
A firm, just about to cross. Oh my goodness, right on top of the vehicle.
The north is Zebra Drive there, I'm on my way.
Ducking my head down to try and move out of the way.
They're going to be leaving the lock. Madonna could be smelling around here.
And off they go slowly. Not slowly, actually. I mean, for leopards, this is pretty highly mobile right now. Tingana's stopping to sniff at the branches every now and again. And just not interested in the attentions that Shadow is attempting to bestow upon him. Okay, let's go a little further. Now keep coming, they've crossed here.
area now from Juma, very close to Knobcorn Turnoff, they're mobile straight west.
This is so interesting. Tingana very clearly. Oh, here come hyenas, here come hyenas. Tingana's up the tree, Shadow's racing away. That was... No wonder he was so on the move, that's why. They've been busy chased by hyenas. Let me move across for Sean. Amazing! There goes Cheetah. There goes Shadow racing off, being chased by the hyena. Tingana's up in the tree. Here comes another hyena racing along. Unbelievable! These days have just been absolutely phenomenal. Where's Shadow? There she goes. She's coming back this way now. Oh, and she's up in the tree. And there she is, safe and sound. Poor Shadow. She has not had a very good last 2 days between the wild dogs and the hyenas. And once again, we found ourselves in a familiar position, just like the end of the sunset safari, with 2 leopards in a tree. Chased up by, in this case, 3 hyenas. No wonder they were so constantly on the move. Awesome. And that was an incredible ascent. Well done, Brian. As Tingana bounced his way up.
It's being persecuted by several hyena. I think one-on-one, this massive male wouldn't worry about a little fluffy one like that. You'll just smack it in the face one time.
That was absolutely awesome. About 3 hyenas racing towards him. Tingana not impressed, but not terribly concerned. This probably happens on a... Oh, there we go.
Currently 2 on dock. We've got 2 English, 2 different insignias with lots of NPC punts.
I'm going to sit happily on my branch and look comfortable, like this is all just par for the course in the morning of the life of Tingana. Hello, gorgeous.
There'll be a standby 1 for you if you control the lineup. If there are any changes, I'll keep you all updated. Still the best approach, just off Knockford Turnoff.
And Chris Rogue, I'm absolutely with you. Personally, I think our hyena clan really are coming back. So apparently it was Corky last night that was involved with that particular sighting. And I'm sorry, I can't reposition at the moment without blocking off Sean's view completely. There's Shadow, perched precariously. She didn't get such a nice tree. She got a silver cluster leaf, which is not as comfortable as the marula that Tingana has found himself in. Tingana is nothing if not resourceful and very good at looking after himself. Now, Chris is right. It feels as though our hyenas are definitely making a comeback. It was Corky there yesterday at the sighting with Shadow, Tingana and Karula. Giving himself a gentle lick. What an incredible start to our morning safari. Tingana racing up trees, hyenas chasing them. Absolutely amazing. One-on-one, Tingana would be more than capable of tackling one of those hyenas. He is absolutely massive, powerful head and shoulders. They would have been no threat to him. But all 3 of them, possibly even more, I only saw 3, but there could have been more. And he decided that discretion was the better part of valor, and up he went into the tree, in a truly dignified fashion, as we've come to expect from Tingana, whenever he's going up a tree. He's got slightly more bulk than our agile leopards. So we do have limited time with these particular leopards. We're going to be pulling out as soon as the next vehicle decides to come into the sighting. But nevertheless, an extraordinary way to start off the morning. Just going to quietly have a nap here, looking beautiful in the rising sun. Deja vu, Brian. Except with a male this time. Yesterday it was Karula. Doesn't get more beautiful than this. Sure. Lois in Buffalo. No, unfortunately there haven't been any more reports on Shadow's cub. I'm actually sitting with Sean from Arethusa right now, so I might have a chat with him afterwards about what we think has happened with Shadow's cub. It's not looking good, I'm afraid. She hasn't been seen in a considerable period of time, and this is now the second time that we've seen Shadow mating with Tingana. It seems as though Shadow tends to go into estrus or false estrus faster or sooner than your average female leopard. We don't know why that may be, but it might be one of the explanations behind why she's been relatively unsuccessful as a mother. She's going to come down and come back to Tingana. That's how strong that instinct is. Careful, careful, careful. Gently does it. Beautifully done. So no reports on Shadow's cub. I mean, Shadow's little cub is a month younger than Karula's, which means that she doesn't have much in the way of resources. She's not independent. She's not really capable of looking after herself yet. And the fact that Mom has left her now for days at a time doesn't look good. It might also be that she lost her cub through other means. I'm hoping that's not the case, but it is possible. She might have lost her cub for another reason, and she's come straight back into false estrus, which happens with all female leopards. They come back into estrus very quickly. There she goes, jumping down. I can't reposition at the moment just because of the view. Come on, girl. She's going to make her way towards... I'm sure she's going to make her way back towards Tingana. We saw it yesterday as well. Karula chased her away. And yet, despite Karula desperately unhappy with Shadow being in her territory, Shadow still kept coming back and pushing back towards Tingana. It's a very, very powerful instinct that they have. Yeah, is she on her way? Here she goes. Come on, girl. Where have you gone? Oh, there she's coming. Our Andrew would like to know how many times a leopard mates before falling pregnant. Depends upon the leopard, but as you know, their fertilization is essentially, or their ovulation at least, is stimulated by repeated mating. Here comes Shadow now. So the initial couple of 100 times will not result in fertilization, and then sort of right in the middle of the mating session, then the female will start to ovulate and fall pregnant. But there's no specific number. We just know that leopards mate a lot. So do lions, but leopards mate roughly every 15 minutes, depending on the temperature. Early in the morning, like this morning, they could have mated every 2 minutes or so, like we saw yesterday. Once again attempting to seduce him, and once again he's up in a tree, making Shadow's life very difficult here. She glances up longingly. Just her tail twitching in slight irritation. She definitely didn't get any of that impala kill yesterday. She doesn't have a full belly. She's actually looking quite thin. Settled down at the base of the marula tree, waiting for the gentleman to come down at some point, although he's not giving any indication that that's his plan. Tingana always seems to have a certain sort of resignation whenever he approaches these mating sessions, and today appears to be no different. He is in absolutely no hurry to jump down the tree and rejoin her. He's quite happy where he is. Look at that dewlap. That thick flap of skin underneath his throat. And there she goes again. Glancing up at him longingly. Shame. And Marianne, yes, it has been recorded that 2 females in estrus have sought out the same male at the same time. They don't fight over him. Essentially, well, they can. It's unusual. Some of the most serious leopard fights that I've ever seen or heard of have been between 2 females, usually unrelated. But most of the time... Oh, there's a hyena coming back. Oh, hold on, let's just see. I think Shadow's going to go up. She's trying to get out of the way of the hyena. Let's just see how this plays out. Sorry, Marianne, I'll get back to your question.
Combi and Conzo on Level Central heading towards forward north. Not gonna follow up?
Shadow, I don't know that that's going to work. I don't think there's enough space in that tree for mating.
So she'll make a plan.
She's watching the hyenas moving about in the distance. It's so good to see them as well. It's been a long time since we've had a proper hyena sighting. That's all happening here at the moment. Skulking. There's skulking. So is Shadow, actually. Skulking at the bottom of the tree.
These hyenas aren't very lucky. They didn't get to eat any giraffe.
And speaking of our favourite spotted creatures, or one of our favourite spotted creatures, we've got 2 here. Laura, you want to know why the hyenas keep bothering the leopards. It is just what they do. Those are sub-adults, or young hyenas that came sprinting through. And having probably finished off what was left of that impala, they've gone sort of back to a pastime of entertaining themselves, playing Terrorize the Cat, kind of like cats and dogs do. There's no serious intention behind it, although if they did get hold of Shadow, they could do her some serious damage, but most of the time, the predators don't come into major conflict. Leopards are very good at avoiding, as you can see. She knows the 2 hyenas are coming back, and she's off. Looking back behind her. They're bullying her today. Shame, Shadow. It hasn't been a good few days for you, has it? Looking back anxiously, she doesn't have a big tree to get into except the one that Tingana's in, and he's not budging. Okay, she's gonna wait there. Let's see what's gonna happen. So these are... They're doing this for entertainment, Laura. They're smart, they're curious, and they're bored. And it's nice and cool this morning. Now, are they going to realize they're walking straight past a leopard? Shadow's not sticking around to find out. Oh, there it goes. Hyena tail up and excited, and Shadow disappearing off. She won't be gone for long. She'll be up the next tree, and the hyenas will lose interest, and she'll come back for Tingana. Absolutely incredible. What a sighting. Those of you who are better placed to identify these hyenas, if you could let me know which ones you think they are, I'd love to hear about it. It's been ages since I saw our hyena clan properly. Having a good sniff up the tree. Sorry, buddy. Tingana's just a little bit out of reach. And he knows it. Look at that expression on his face. Positively smug. This is not Tingana's first rodeo. Not concerned at all. So some amazing predator interaction. Hyenas are, depending on whether it's a female or a male leopard, generally hyenas are stronger and more robust than a leopard. Excuse me, and have the advantage of numbers. Leopards, as solitary creatures, would much prefer to avoid the conflict, but it's not uncommon to see them right next to each other, lying up maybe a couple of meters away, like we saw yesterday on the sunset safari. It's all in the body language and the intent of the animal. These young hyenas clearly showing that they want to harass the leopards, and the leopards not keen to give them that opportunity. I will say it's been a particularly bad few hours for Shadow, between the wild dogs and the hyenas. And Sandy, no, Tingana would not warn Shadow one little bit if the hyenas came by, or the wild dogs, unless of course she was watching his body language carefully, in which case she might pick up cues from them. Tingana is interested in one thing and one thing only, in terms of priorities, and that is his own survival and well-being. So as much as we'd like to think that there is some altruistic and protective instinct to him, there absolutely is not. He will be the first to take the best position up the tree, as we saw yesterday. Well, we say best position, he was thoroughly uncomfortable yesterday, but he wanted to make sure that nobody else got the kill. And he will be the first out of the way as soon as the hyenas come a-calling, or the wild dogs, or whatever it happens to be. Whilst he bears Shadow no ill will, nor Karula, nor any of the others, he also is not going to put himself out or risk his life to try and protect them. And Andrew, Shadow will wait for as long as it takes for her man to come down. Unlike Tingana, she is very interested in regaining his attentions, and she'll wait, and she'll wait, and she'll wait, and she'll wait, and he can't escape her forever. At some point he's got to come down the tree, and then she will resume her attentions in terms of battering him in the face with her tail. She will wait for as long, unless another male comes along. Margaret's sharing a thought, which is perhaps Tingana is saying, "Thank you, hyenas, for distracting Shadow and allowing him a brief respite from her attentions." It's not the first time I've felt that about Tingana. There was one time when we were sitting at Red Dam, and the Tsalala Pride chased Karula and Tingana in opposite directions. Oh, settle down. Very comfortable. And yes, exactly the same thing. Tingana took the opportunity to disappear as far away as possible. And now he's settled in a much more comfortable marula tree than the one that we saw him in yesterday. We're going to have to jump onto the Game Drive channel and probably... Oh, look at that, that's beautiful. Sure, that's beautiful. Probably going to have to move out of the sighting at some point. So while I hop on and discuss logistics, let's go across to James and find out how his morning is heading.
Good morning again, everyone. What an astounding time you've been having of it. We did see some elephant, but they went into a very thick block, and we did find tracks of Karula and the cubs, and they've definitely gone south of the property, and so now we're heading towards where the Nkuhuma Pride killed their last buffalo. We're going to see if they're around there. We've had no tracks yet. We would quite possibly lose David now on this black monkey thorn. David, you do not want to be caught by this tree. It will be very unpleasant for you. You will cry like a wounded child. Yes, there is David's begloved hand. No, you won't be able to... Ooh, that's very brave.
I think it'll be alright.
Jean-Ray got 2 thorns stuck in his arm yesterday, David. He cried. I had to tell him to man up. Anyway, Herbert's gone back to where the old kill site was. Taxon is knocking about on the Gowrie cut line where the very large jackalberry tree is. There's a waterbuck, David, a magnificent fellow, basking in the early morning sun. Unfortunately, he is very afraid of you and is now leaving. Followed closely by 2 Birchall starlings, his only friends in the world. Wait for us, says Benji the Birchall starling.
on Hyena Road.
Isn't that nice? Look how beautifully coloured they are. This feels like the kind of morning one should stop and listen and contemplate. Very nice bird songs. Not very loud, but it's spread all over the place. I'm just listening to the radio in my ear. Oh, and lovely calls of southern boo-boo. Oh, isn't that lovely? Babblers. Crested barbets. Babblers. Oh, and my first white-bellied sunbird of the season. Chip, 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 brrr, chip, 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 brrr. And of course the chin spot bettis. Right, from the birds to the leopard. Let's go and see what's going on with that astounding sighting.
And Shadow is back once again, playing the patience game. She came along purring away, and has now settled down at the base of the marula tree, in the sun, just waiting, patiently waiting, for Tingana to decide whether or not he's actually going to be bothered to come down the tree. We've just been chatting to Sean. We're not sure about whether or not Shadow has lost her cub. We're just going to have to wait and see. So for new viewers, Shadow has had, I'm not sure which tense to use, a 6-month-old little female cub, beautiful little thing. And she hasn't been seen in about 2.5 weeks. Typically when a female is mating again, it's not a very good sign, but animals don't read textbooks, and we just have no idea. So we'll have to wait and see. We probably won't know for a considerable period of time for certain. And we'll all just have to keep hoping that the cub is still around. She's taking the opportunity to have a good clean. Awesome. Thank you very much to Chris Rogue, who says that Bella is one of the ones that was bugging them. So Bella, the son of the matriarch of our hyena clan, the sub-adult son, was one of the ones that popped Tingana up in the tree. Makes total sense. Little band of troublemakers is what we had there. Oh, here he comes. Yes, no, maybe. Can he be bothered? He's got a nice full belly. There we go. Come on, boy. Just gonna scratch the top of my head on the tree. Shadow's watching his every move. I can hear her low, seductive purring emanating from where she's lying. She's hopeful. Perhaps now with the hyenas gone, he might be more receptive to her advances. He's listening to her as well. He is magnificent. He is absolutely massive. Very solid male leopard. Come on, boy. Here we go. Here we go. Maybe not. Maybe later. Make your way in. Station on first standby for Whakapakati Ingwe.
Good morning, Jamie.
Morning, make your way. I'll pull out when you get here.
Hey, Jamie, I just want to confirm a south of Nkuhuma link,
There he goes. Clunk. Not quite as graceful as the dainty Karula or Shadow. Here she goes, straight in. That's affirmative.
Harassment, eh?
He is not interested. He could not be less bothered by her attentions.
Did we come in? Oh. And over to you there, with Ryan.
And off they go. Okay, we're not going to be following them any further. We're going to make space for some of the other vehicles, so we're going to say goodbye to Sean and the other vehicles and head off on our way. We'll get an update as to how it goes and whether or not Shadow ever manages to seduce him. And while we negotiate our way out of here, let's head back across to James.
Great news! The lions, everybody, are at the kill site from whence they came yesterday for their drink. We're heading there at a great speed. I'm not sure exactly who's there. Herbert went to have a quick look and there they were. I'm quite surprised, I must say, because I didn't think there was even a morsel left on that carcass. But anyway, we'll go and have a look and we'll take what we can get. The more time we spend with those little cubbies, the happier we shall become in our hearts, David. Don't you think? Yes. It does warm the cockles to be around little cubs. So we'll go and see what we can find, take some rank average pictures, while David films with great skill. And we might stop for the odd bird such as that scimitar over there on the top of the tree. Now that's not one that we see very often, and they make such a lovely call. And it's called a scimitar, David, because it has a scimitar bill. Yes, well done. Scimitar bill because it has a scimitar-shaped bill. There it is, in all its scimitarous glory. Opening and closing. Now that bill, everybody, is probing. It's used for sticking into sort of gaps in the bark in trees and the odd hole that's been dug by a woodpecker or a wood-boring beetle. And the scimitar bill will pull out the grubs and other invertebrates that it can find underneath the bark. Oh, and it was quite chilly this morning. Alright, let's go across to Jamie. She's got some hyenas to show you.
Our trio of troublemakers slowly making their way along the boundary between Arathusa and Juma. I'm on Chris Rogue's page. I think a very thorough check of the hyena dens at some point soon is definitely in order, because I think our hyena clan is back in town. All the signs point that way. We had the beautiful whooping sounds over the last few evenings, something that has been largely absent from our lives in the last few months. And look at this, don't they just look like trouble? Doesn't that image just say naughty? The way they're wandering along. They've had a good evening, probably got to scoff up the last bits of poor Karula's impala kill. And now the three, we need a name for them, this little trio. Definitely a trio of mischief. Wait for me, guys. Awesome. So Bella, for those of you who are new to our hyena clan... Oh, goodness gracious, that was a bit loud. Sorry about that. Let's catch up with them a little bit before they disappear completely, although this is an awesome image. So Bella, as the son of the matriarch, is in an interesting position. For new viewers, hyena are probably the only truly matriarchal society in terms of all mammals in at least South Africa. The females are larger, more dominant, they've got higher levels of testosterone, and even the lowest ranking female in a hyena clan is higher than the male. But the son of the matriarch has an interesting position because he's inherited something of her status, and they very often stick around and become a crucial part. Look at that, isn't that cool? 1, 2, 3. Just trundling along, seeing what else we can get into. The 3 amigos. I like that. You know what they look like? They look like wannabe teenage hoodlums. All encouraged by each other. You know what I mean? That sort of boisterous behavior brought on by social company and pressure. Oh, off onto Arethusa. Brave decision. I hear the clan of Elephant Plains, the enormous hyena clan, is currently on a giraffe kill just outside of our boundary. Let's go catch up with them. This is cool. And they're about to cross, so we'll try and stick with them for now. I'm really, really hoping that our hyenas are back on Djuma once again. We've had so much good luck recently. I don't even know what to talk about at this point. We've had leopards up trees, we've had wild dogs, everything is happening. I know that Herbert is very focused on tracking down Karula and her lovely cubs to find out how they are after the evening's scuffles and activities. It's definitely been one for the books for them, and a learning curve for them. I don't think any of us are hugely worried about Karula's cubs. I think they're old enough and smart enough now, and they've had some good lessons from Mom to teach them to stay well out of reach of things like wild dogs and hyenas. And as I said, it's all happening with the predators on Djuma at the moment. Let's go back over to James and his lovely lioness.
Now, everyone, there is Amber Eyes, and she's heading towards the kill site. But what's interesting here is that she's actually on the tracks of some buffalo bulls. Yes, thank you, Louise. I know it's Amber Eyes. That's why I said, here's Amber Eyes. I'm slightly confused as to what's going on. I'm just thinking, I don't know that we'll follow her through here. I think she's heading straight back towards the kill site. We can try and get through here, I suppose. No, we're not. You know what, it's too rough in here, and she's just going straight towards the kill site, so I don't think we're going to follow her. I'm going to go towards the kill. There were some buffalo going down that way, but obviously she's not going to try and kill a buffalo on her own, although it is Amber Eyes, of course, one doesn't know. And just quickly call that in. Stations, I think this lioness is moving towards the kill. I'm not going to follow her through this thick block. I'm going to go straight towards Herbert. And Herbie is just in here at the kill site. This is Hyena Road now, heading obviously east given the blinding sun, and then it will turn to the north and we will turn down to the west towards the drainage to get past this rather thick area here. Alright, let's go back to Jamie and her hyena.
Our trio of troublemakers, or the 3 amigos, or however you want to refer to them as, have just come through to the Triple M latrine, one that we're very familiar with, and one that I think demarcates the boundary between the 2 different clans of this area. So what I mean by that is a latrine. It's basically like one giant hyena toilet, but it serves a more important purpose than that. It's kind of like hyena Facebook as well. They deposit their scat there, and they also were doing some regular anal pasting, which is something that sets hyenas apart from our other big carnivores. Now they're moving into a very thick area, so we won't be able to follow them here. But it is interesting just to see the role that sub-adults play in terms of marking their territory, because a latrine is a very, very important marker. in terms of hyena clan life. Here comes Shanae. There you go, that's the latrine. Markings around there. Oh, flowers. Spring is here. How lovely. It's a little bit of a contrast there, isn't it? Have some hyena scat and also some flowers. Happy spring. Beautiful. The hyena scat turns white, obviously, and crumbly as a result of their diet. Makes total sense. They eat bones. Bones have calcium. Calcium goes white. Ergo, you've got white powdery scat as the end product of your digestion. This entire area is covered in a pile of hyena scat. Let's just say hello to Shanae quickly. Has she got space to move around me? She definitely does. Here we go. How's it, Chris? How are you? Hey, Shanae.
How are you guys?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Good morning. Go right ahead. Enjoy. Cheers. Oh, the lovely Shanae from Nkuhuma, who many of you, of course, will be familiar with. Excuse me. Right, so, just to give you a sort of an overview, there are so many hyena scats here. Lots and lots of them, all piled up. Kind of like somebody's been dropping piles of white paint at this point. And if we were to get out and investigate, we would be able to find the patchings of hyena pastings. That's very important. If you ever find yourself with a guide that goes and plucks a blade of grass with a hyena pasting, that you point out that the hyena put it there very deliberately for a very good reason. And that anal paste contains details of all kinds of things, like the sex of the hyena, their status, their reproductive status. It's very important to them, and by picking up that blade of grass and moving it, you've actually upset the apple cart. It's essentially like hacking their social media account. Oh, look, isn't that lovely? There is a lovely imagery that comes with that. Beautiful. Yay, the flowers are coming back. Okay, perhaps we have now, I think, completed our tour of the hyena scat. You get the idea. So the only time we will show you hyena anal pasting is during a bushwalk, where we will be able to take the camera up to it rather than going to collect a blade of grass like that. Now, as we go past our piles of white excrement, yes, John, hyena scat is a very, very important part of their supplement of calcium for quite a few different animals in terms of their diet, but the one that springs to mind immediately, it's one of the reasons why you should always be a little bit hesitant about picking up tortoises, is because tortoises and terrapins will go and snack upon the scat of hyenas. So will the other reptile species and even some birds, including vultures. And the reason that they do that is, of course, especially during breeding season, they need the calcium for their eggshells. What is happening here? It must be the hyenas again. I'm right at that corner where I have to switch radio channels between several different types. Yeah, it's the hyenas. Ooh, I've still got my lights on. So hyenas are very, very important creatures. Apart from their rubbish collecting, not collecting, but their rubbish disposal function that they serve, their scat provides very important sources of calcium for different creatures. Who have we got here? It looks like Aubrey. No, definitely not. How's it, man? How are you? Hi, guys. Hyena passed here. Did they go that way? Cool, man.
Where's she go?
Nkuhuma or Shadow and Tingana?
This is just Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow and Tingana were going towards Knobthorne Open. Nkuhuma
You said that tracks.
crossing this way. Okay, I've been on Western Channel. I'm going to check with with Herbert now. Okay, I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah, and there were my Dutch here last night as well, but I don't know where they've gone.
How many?
3. Chased all the ingwe up the trees. Alright. Thanks, man. Enjoy. Cheers, guys. Bye. Cute. I love it when kids do that. It's the cutest thing when they're on safari. A hyena went that way. You can just see their eyes light up and a big smile all over their face. It's so cute. Desperate to share their news. I'll tell you another story about a lovely little kid that I had on safari in a moment. But for now, let's go over to James and see what else he's found for you.
There, everybody, is the tawny eagle, and the tawny eagle is sitting up above the kill site of the Nkuhuma Pride. Now, the tawny eagle is a renowned scavenger in much the same way as the battalier is a renowned scavenger. And if you find the two of them together, almost certainly there will be some kind of death on the ground. Now, we're not far from the kill, so Davey, let's move in there and see if we can't have a look-see. Herbert was in here. I'm not sure if he still is. He might be relaxing with his friends, the Nkuhuma Pride. And as Dave said to me, did we know who found this kill? I mean, it really is right in the middle of a block. And it was indeed our very own Herbert that managed to find the kill. Right, here we go. Just around the corner, the smell of lion dung and rotting flesh assails the nostrils. It's not very nice, is it, David? It is quite unpleasant. Ah, the first sign of the lions, of course, is Herbert relaxing with his friends. He says we're going the wrong way. We need to go around here. I will tell you a story about a man that Herbert and I both know. Ooh. Look at that there, David. Can you see it with the camera? That, everybody, is the reason that this place stinks as badly as it does. It is a very large scat of lion, and it is the reason that a green cloud hangs over what is otherwise a very beautiful sighting. Ute yinile of Tingwanyan, Tinsongwan. Oh, okay. Alright. Nkuhuma heavy. Just saying you can hear. Oh yeah. He's just saying, oh look. Oh, there's some impala alarm calling around the jackalberry tree. Let's just stop here and get a quick view. I'm just wondering if they are not going to go into the drainage line. Look at this little thing. It's too sweet, that one. That little cub on the ground, lying regally. I hate to say it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Lying regally like Simba of the Lion King. The others are down in the drainage. You might be able to hear them. Here comes an older cub from the right-hand side. having just had some breakfast of rotting buffalo. Now its voice is already getting deeper, you know. Now let's try and get the sex of that one. They're almost roaring. I mean, not quite, but... Look, look, look. Yeah, if I think come round, yeah, you can see where I am. Come round here. There are some in the open here, others down in the drainage. Sorry, Davey. My head was in the way there, everybody. I do apologise. I was just on the radio. I'm just going to see how far up I can sit. David, will you just slap me on the back of the head if I get in your way?
I shall.
Thank you. Not very hard, just semi-hard. Sorry. There we are. Now, that one, I want to try and get an idea of what sex they all are. As far as we understand, well, we know for the 3 littlest ones, 2 males, 1 female. We think for the 3 oldest ones, 2 females, 1 male, and we think the 2 middle ones, both females. Here comes one more from the side there, Dave. Yep, you got him. Very grubby little fellow. Bits of rotting buffalo there on the muzzle. Very sweet. I don't know who else. There might be 1 or 2 more at the kill. She's calling. I don't know if you heard that. Calling the youngster back. Oh. Look at that playing.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to go in and have a look, see.
Yeah, we hear that just went into the drainage and we don't know if that will come out.
Listen, that's a young lioness, everyone. I just noticed that. She's calling the others. We're going to wait here for a little while, see if they don't pop down with her. Otherwise, we will try and effect some sort of maneuver into the drainage line, but that is going to require some driving and perhaps ropes. Okay. Alright, everybody, I would remove your dentures now. Take the coffee that's on your lap, put it aside, or take a last sip. Here we go, Dave. I can just see the kill there. There's just a few ribs left. I don't think we're even going to bother to have a look. So let's look down here. We did get into this drainage around that way a little bit earlier. Okay, I can see the lioness. Sorry, we'll just see if we can have a look at the lioness. I just want to see where they're going. I think they're all going to relax down there, you know. I can see the other cubs. Alright, let's try and get down there. It's not going to be easy. I think while we do that, let's head across to Jamie and see what she's doing, and I'll try and find you again at the bottom of the drainage line.
As James negotiates a tricky spot, I'm just seeing a harrier hawk, alerted to the presence by the calls of the go-away birds, but I think it has disappeared off a little bit further. So for those of you who are, there's the go-away bird at the top of the tree there. Those of you who are familiar with harrier hawks, you'll know that they're one of my favorite birds. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Confusion there for a second. Oh, greeting a companion that has just fluttered in to join it. The go-away birds making their quack sounds alerted us to the presence of that harrier hawk, or a gymnogene, which is, I still think gymnogene is a better name. It just sounds cooler. That's the old name for the African harrier hawk. I don't see where that's gone though. I think that the go-away birds have scared it away. Where did it go, mister? The harrier hawks are very accomplished nest raiders, and as a result, all birds, including the go-away birds, the hornbills, the rollers, they all react very, very strongly whenever there is one around, mobbing it, fluttering around, trying to scare it away from their nests. Let's go and see if it's maybe a little bit further to the north. All the alarm calls have died down, which makes me think that it's decided to flutter off and try somewhere different. Let's just continue on a little bit. I've just been reflecting with Brian as to how lucky we've been over the last few days. Our animals have really pulled out all the stops, and we've had the most phenomenal sightings. It feels as though we've just been overwhelmed with the choice of the different things that we've had a chance to see. Been absolutely phenomenal. Just an update, I've been chatting to Herbert, I'm not sure whether or not James has told you, but Karula crossed south into Little Gowrie with 2 sets of cub tracks accompanying her, so everybody can take a deep sigh of relief, deep breath, and she is fine, her little ones are fine. They survived the night and the drama that unfolded in the darkness. And the wild dogs, I don't know where the wild dogs have gone, but Karula is safe and sound. Herbert thinks she made a kill. He could hear the impala sounding very, very cross on the Little Gowrie side, so that's south of our boundary. So the female leopard that we were talking about earlier, she is fine and well with her 2 little ones. Oh, hello. Oh yes, I was going to tell you a lovely story about a child on safari. Now, as you know, while we approach these ellies that are just in front of us, zebra are quite interesting in terms of their digestive process, in that they produce a great deal of gas, which in turn makes them quite flatulent. And I had a little 12-year-old boy. He was gorgeous. He was such a sweet little kid on safari. He was so interested in everything, and he wanted to jump off the vehicle and touch everything and explore. Anyway, we took him and we saw some zebra, and they got a fright and they trotted away with the usual expulsion of gases as they went along. And we pulled up next to another vehicle, and before I even had a chance to greet the guide, this little boy pipes up, "We saw a zebra, and it farted so much, it was amazing." It was so cute. The happiest little boy I've ever seen. We made his day, or the zebra made his day. The zebra made that little boy's day. Hello, girl. Okay, so the female's giving us a little bit of a sign there. Hello, my girl. Short-trunked ellie, but that is our lovely short-trunked elephant herd. For some reason I thought she was larger. This looked like a younger one, but it is her, with her gorgeous little female calf. So the reason I stopped here where I did was just because she was giving us the slightest sign of discomfort. And that's because she's looking after little one, making sure that it's protected. Hello, baby girl. This is my favorite elephant cow. I don't know why, there's just something so special about her and her little family. She's missing a third of her trunk. We think was probably a snare at some point. Oh, hello guys. There's a bull that's decided to join them. Apparently this is the elephant herd that was chasing the lions yesterday. You know, as if yesterday's sunset safari couldn't get any more dramatic. It's a lovely bull coming to join them. So our short-trunked elephant, and now joined by this young bull, is definitely one of our special characters. She's missing, as I said, the third of her trunk, old injury, and it probably resulted in her separation from the rest of the herd. But she's formed her own little family, either with a younger sister or with her oldest daughter, a young male calf, and then her new little female. And she disappeared for a while, and then returned with a tiny, tiny baby. Her little one's now, she must be about 8 months old or so now. Hey, look at you, munching away on solid foods. She's definitely grown considerably since we first saw her, but still utterly adorable. And definitely a cheeky little thing. She once came over to us and almost touched the car, which is not something we allow. And while we settle in for a lovely elephant sighting in the morning light, let's go across to James and his mobile lions.
The lions have now disappeared, everybody. They're just going up east. We got into this drainage line through some fairly serious manoeuvring, and then the lions have now decided that they're going towards the Gowrie cut line. So they're giving us the slip slightly, but we will persist and head with them. One of them is going north. Let's just go a little bit forward. I was really hoping that we'd have them in this glade down here playing gently, but they seem now to be moving off in that direction there through the very thick trees. We'll just turn off because you can actually just see them and hear them. You'll hear the little ones moving there. There. Amazing sighting, David. It's such a lovely place to sit this, in amongst the trees. Alright everybody, we're going to try and make our way up there. I'm going to suggest quite strongly that we go back across to Jamie. Let's just see if she's ready to take us. I think let's go back to her because I think it's going to be a little bit hairy getting up there. We'll hopefully see you with a relatively relaxed sighting shortly.
As James tackles his tricky driving, we're still with our lovely little elephant. Isn't she just too gorgeous? Something we always comment on, but just watching a baby elephant learn to coordinate its trunk is a fascinating experience. They haven't quite got the technique down just yet, and it's always a thoroughly entertaining moment as they twist and turn and copy the adult's behavior. Yeah, I want that leaf. There we go, well done. Reaching forward to pluck away. Now, speaking of our lovely girl with her short trunk, Michael wanted to know how long it would take for a snared trunk to fall off, and would the herd have waited for her. It's difficult to say, and it's something that's very, very sad. It wouldn't have happened here in the Sabi Sand because, of course, the fences are regularly patrolled, but these elephants can roam all the way towards Mozambique, and she could have been snared anywhere along there. So a snare is a metal loop of wire that is put out by desperate people looking to catch bushmeat, essentially, so antelope and so on, to supplement their diet. But unfortunately, it has unintended victims as well, including elephants like this one. I don't know how long it would take. It can take anything from... If the elephant is really truly stuck, she probably would have died. But what will often happen is they will wrench the snare free and then walk around with it wrapped around their trunk. And the herd will wait and will be very, very distressed initially, but then will eventually have to make the difficult decision to move off. And I think you'll probably find that she did stay with the rest of her herd. She probably pulled the snare free, but I mean, this is pure supposition here. And she then just was slower than them in terms of her ability to feed with her injured trunk. And it can take anything from a couple of days for a couple of weeks, depending on how bad the snare injury is. It's something terribly distressing to see. And if we had, let's say, for example, we had encountered her with that snare on her trunk while we were doing these live safaris, that would be an example of where we would interfere and we would try and help her. It would be difficult if she had calves with her, but we would do it. Because it's human interference, it's human impact that has caused that injury to that animal. Now we dart her, pull... Oh, goodness gracious. The bull muscling in and shoving the young male around, wanting to come and feed where he is, and he was the one making that squealing sound of indignation there. And the cow taking it all calmly in her stride, not terribly bothered. A big girl. Yes, yes. It's all good. I'm not going to do anything, don't worry. Little one. No, don't come be cheeky. Don't come be cheeky. Yes, stay with your mum. With your mouthful of grass. So that little head shake that we saw from the female there, and then the response from the calf as well, imitating mom, that was not an aggressive movement, really. I wouldn't define it as aggressive. What she was basically doing was saying, I'm watching you, I'm bigger than you, make sure that you behave yourself around my little family. So often people get a fright when elephants do that, especially in the Kruger, where inexperienced people drive around, and they go zooming away from an elephant that's done that, and that's not a good lesson either, because then you've turned your engine on and you've basically provoked the animal, rather than just sitting still and silent and letting them know through your body language that you don't intend them any harm. And dust flying around now as the poor elephants struggle to find roots and other things with nutrition. Oh, here's the big bull. This is submissive behavior. Look at that. That early bull might decide to come up and be cheeky. He's just at that right age where they think that they're very big and intimidating and scary. Hello, boy. Yes, I'm talking about you. Oh, yes, very scary. Oh, yes. Oh, head shakes all around. Yes, that's now your position. Now the big bull has come in and shifted the younger one away and has taken over his digging spot. And speaking of the way that elephants use their feet, Michael wanted to know whether or not I've ever noticed if they favor one foot over the other. Oh, sorry, not Michael, it was William in Oregon. My apologies, William. It was a lovely question from you because, of course, elephants favor one tusk over another when they're basically like right or left-handed people. So it stands to reason, just like sports stars and all humans with dominant legs, that elephants would use one leg over the other. I've never noticed it before, though. It's something I'll keep an eye out for. To the best of my knowledge, I've only ever seen elephants use both feet when they're digging like that. But it could well be that they use one more than the other. You might even find, if you looked really closely, if you spent a considerable time examining one individual, you might even see that one set of toenails is slightly more worn down than the other. But I mean, so far this bull has used both his right front and his left front foot. It's a lovely question, though. This is why I love questions coming through on these live safaris, because they make me think about things that I wouldn't necessarily have thought about before. My favorite one was, do buffalo always chew in one direction? Which, of course, the answer was no. It was what I think we concluded. But still a lovely way of looking at things. The ellies are right in the sun. Unfortunately, I can't do much in the way of repositioning just yet, because, of course, they're all around us. It's a tricky movement happening there. And that branch proving to be a particularly tricky customer. Little one, of course, with the full trunk, so she has to learn to master it, right down to the dexterous and nimble finger-like projections at the end. We do have a question about our snared elephant and how long it would take for her to regain the use of her, or the dexterity of her trunk. So Yati Buddy, I think I've got your name right. My apologies if I have butchered it in some way. I can't give you an exact answer, because of course we haven't had a chance to observe it, and it would be different for each elephant and each injury. But you'd probably find that she'd have to regain it very quickly, because it's essential to her feeding process. It's amazing how adaptable these creatures are. We saw one particular bull elephant with half a trunk, less than half a trunk actually, digging up grass and then bending his whole body forward in order to pick up the grass with his much shortened trunk. It's sad to see, yet at the same time, it's also very special the way that they respond and the way that they are able to cope with stuff like that. And our elephant is perfectly healthy. She's obviously had several healthy little babies. Shame that elephant at the back's got a sore eye. It's streaming, which we see at the moment, we see quite regularly. There you go, you can see all the liquid running from it. Just because it is so dusty at the moment and dry, a lot of the elephants have got watery eyes as a result. See that wax build up in the corner, that white stuff? That's all just to try and protect the sensitive eye from the sort of harsh effects of the dust. And we know all about that because we experience it on a regular basis, so we sympathize with them, as does the camera experience that on a regular basis. Our beautiful, peaceful elephant herd is slowly but surely moving away from us. Luckily for us, James has managed, with all of that tricky driving, to stick with the Nkuhumas. So let's go across and see what's happening there.
Hello everybody. Here we are with the wonderful Nkuhuma cubs, and we managed to push out of what can only be described as the windy, impenetrable forest, and here we are with these little cubs. And the whole pride, well, in fact no, the two lionesses missing. One of them, which we saw, Amber Eyes, I think was stalking some buffalo bulls. And I think they're going to go back into the drainage now, where it's a bit shadier. I ain't going back in there though, I'm afraid. So well, let's enjoy them now while we have them. All 8 little cubbies. I don't know if you can hear them when they're lying down going. I think they were very happy just lying here in the sun. Now Mum's trying to move again. That's really rather sweet, and the light is so very beautiful. We see, I can't really hear you. Do you want to try that again? Sorry David, let me move slightly for you, but I think they are going to disappear now, everyone. Hello Ellen in Arkansas. You're wondering about the wild dogs that were seen yesterday and how far away these lion cubs were from them. Ellen, a good sort of probably 2 miles. So no, they weren't in any danger at all from the dogs. They were a long way away. And dogs will think twice about having a go at lion cubs. because they're not big enough to intimidate the adults. They're absolutely big enough to intimidate, as you saw yesterday, to intimidate the leopard adults, but not lion adults. It just simply wouldn't be possible for them to do that. So even if they saw lion cubs, unless they were very sure the adults weren't around, they'd leave them be. So the one female there are taking them all down into the drainage while the other two sit by. It's all rather sweet, I must say. Hello, Beginner Plox. What a lovely name that is. I'm not sure what it means, but Beginner Plox. You say, how many litter mates are there normally? Well, the average litter is probably 3. 4 is not uncommon, 5 very unusual, 6 extremely unusual. So it would be 3 or 4, which is 1 more than the average of a leopard, which would be 2 or 3 normally. But up to 6, I believe there have been up to 8 born, but I mean that's extremely unusual. And these ones, 3, 2 and 3. The one with 2, I'm not sure if maybe they lost one perhaps. And here goes Mum, another Mum, straight back towards where David and I managed to blast out of. Poor Rusty. Well, at least we had a lovely sighting of them in the early sun, glistening off their fur. We will go and stick our heads over the top there, but let's just wait and enjoy this very quiet movement. We'll get a last view of her there. There we are. Alright, well we'll go and put our noses over the edge there, everyone. And while we're doing that, let's head back to Jamie and her elephants.
Sounds as though those lions have been keeping James particularly busy this morning. Bride and myself have had a much easier time for now with our elephants, although they're also going to slowly disappear off. Most of the family is now moving into thicker vegetation, finding themselves a good place to eat. And the others, there's still 2 males that have stopped us from repositioning right in front of us in the road and sort of straight into the sun. I'm having to blink and squint carefully at them, keeping an eye on whatever they're up to. Beautiful young male. He's just at that point, he's got a lovely set of quite large tusks for his age, at least for his height. He's just at that age where he's starting to feel a bit more confident in himself. He's been on his own for a few years, maybe joined a few bachelor herds. And now hormones telling him that it might be time to check out some of the lovely ladies around the area. A bird making a terrible racket, but I can't see where it is or what it was. It was squealing. And speaking of hormones and our elephant bull as he wanders across to catch up with the ladies, Shamsan, not while I've been at Safari Live, so Shamsan's question is, have we ever seen elephants mating? We've had a couple of near misses, if I could put it like that. Oh, little one rushing forward. What you doing with my mum? What you doing? Mom, where are you? Oh, look at that. Don't get in between, little one. Oh, cute. Protectively putting itself between Mom and that male. He went up to sniff her temporal gland. Sorry, Shamsan, I'll get back to you in 1 second. He went up to place his trunk across the forehead of the female, which is a standard elephant greeting, not aggressive or upsetting for them in any way. Let me just go shuffle forward ever so slightly, now that he is there. And basically allows them to gauge the mood of the elephant that they've gone up to greet. And she's moved off and he's decided to take her place And they're all being terribly awkward in terms of their positioning behind the trees. So Shamsun, sorry. I have not seen elephants mating on Safari Live. Have you ever filmed it? No, Brian hasn't ever filmed. It's actually quite rare to see. It's a very quick process. It's a very noisy process that involves most of the herd because the female in estrus runs around advertising and making a terrible noise about the whole thing, and the male chases her around for a considerable period of time. So it's very dramatic, but it's also very quick because the female can often be half, if not more than half, the size of the male, and she has to bear the weight of him on her pelvis. So it's a short, not a protracted affair. Very, very quick. And we've seen a few mock mountings, basically where males sort of mount each other in a display of dominance. We've seen that with elephant, giraffe, lots of different creatures. But for those of you who've been watching longer than I've been working here, have you ever seen... Excuse me, Drongos, I'm talking. Have you ever seen elephants mating on Safari Live? I can't think of a time while I've been working here, but I'm sure there's a good chance it has happened. And just let me know if you've ever seen elephants mating before on Safari Live. The next question, of course, Shamsun, is when are we going to film a live elephant birth? Because that would be truly spectacular. Law of averages. We spend 6 hours a day out here every single day, more actually, because we're usually out before the start of the sunrise and the sunset safari. At some point, we should film an elephant giving birth. That is my dream. I have never seen it in the wild. I've seen videos of it, and I have come very close to seeing it, but I have yet to see it in the wild, and that's something that I would love to witness. Apparently it is truly extraordinary, and I can only imagine it is, with the bonds between elephant herds being what they are, and the social importance of the birth of a new calf. I can just imagine it's truly special. So there we go, we'll add that to the list of things we'd like to see. I would not mind witnessing a live elephant birth. We've had live zebra, live wildebeest, live impala. Have I missed anything out? Zebra, wildebeest, impala. I think that's it. Yeah, those are the sort of the amazing moments that we have shared with the female animals of this area. Let's go forward a bit because this little chap is having such a good scratch. And perhaps we can find us... Oh, no, never mind. He says no to that. Okay, let us try and get forward a bit since the elephants have made life a bit more tricky. Hello, little one. With your weepy eyes. Hey, Ellies. I think this might be the end of our Ellie sighting for now. Try one more time. Here we go. Settle here for now. Definitely a very peaceful way to spend a morning. Apart from my gentle hacking, which I do apologize for. Very astute observation from Argent in India. Very well spotted. Argent spotted the fork-tailed drongo that has been fluttering about with these elephants and wants to know if there's any particular reason. And Argent, you kind of put your finger on it. Very well done. We see fork-tailed drongos accompanying all big herds, or in fact all large mammal species that are herbivores, and for a very good reason. It's because that during their feeding, they displace insects that might otherwise be very, very difficult to spot, and the drongo can swoop in and take advantage of that. And it's not just limited to the mammals or the animal species here. I've been out on bush clearing missions, so essentially to go and cut down trees. And I've been followed by fork-tailed drongos fluttering about my feet, as they would flutter around this elephant's lovely feet, trying to catch whatever they happen to stir up. So the fork-tailed drongo is pretty much a constant at a sighting like this. Beautiful skin in this morning light. Aren't they just absolutely lovely? Sandy in Canada, another lovely question, or comment actually, not so much a question. Wondering whether or not elephants ever bite their trunks like we sometimes bite our tongues or our cheeks or our lips by mistake. I imagine little baby elephants do, but of course their teeth are not developed enough to cause any major damage. I wouldn't be surprised if they often catch the inside of their cheek with their molars as they chew along, but their cheeks and their tongues are so tough that I don't think it'd make too much of a difference. But I do have this image of an elephant sticking its trunk into its mouth and then going wide-eyed as the jaws clamps down. An interesting thought. I'll leave it to all of you to figure out whether you think an elephant ever bites its own trunk and what thoughts it might have as at that particular moment. I can imagine a few choice words might be running through their minds. Right, our ellies have disappeared off pretty much. I mean, the last one is almost disappeared. Let's go across to James and find out what his plans are for the rest of the morning.
Now that, everybody, is a blue waxbill, a little finch-like bird, looking for seeds in the seed bed, of which there are many, believe it or not, despite the apparent barren nature of that clearing in which he's standing. They're such a lovely colour. They're such cheerful sort of, or cheering birds. I don't know how cheerful they are. I'm not familiar with their psychology. But there are a few other birds around here. We've got there's a fork-tailed drongo on the tree. There we are. Gorgeous colour with the blue of the spring sky. And then, Davey, I think there's some grey-headed sparrows down on the floor there around that sort of drying piece of beefalo dung. Oh, there's some red-billed buffalo weavers. And now right above us in the trees we've got grey-headed sparrows. Can you see any, Davey? There's some in there. There you are, go up a bit. There, zoom in, punch. No, that's a red-billed buffalo weaver. It'll do, though. It'll do. Sharpening his beak, he is, on the tree here. And while we're enjoying the sighting of the red-billed buffalo weaver, I'm just going to tell you that my plan from here is to go, as Michael requested yesterday, to the hyena dens, because there was a nursing or apparently lactating hyena female seen at the Djuma Dam Pan not too long ago. So that's going to be the plan from here. Oh, and apparently both Corky and Madam have been seen on the dam cam recently. That comes from Ashram, is that correct? Cool. We'll go and see them. Now, Davy's got some grey-headed sparrows there. There we are, David. Well done. And that is, sorry, not from someone called Ashram. I'm not sure where that came from. It's from Chris Rogue. Thank you, Chris Rogue. Alrighty. That'll be our idea. Oh, hang on, wait, David. There's another scimitar. Can you believe it? On the tree there. That's it. On that very tree. Keep up a bit. Zoom full. There. The scimitar, and it's got its breakfast. What is it eating? I think it is E10. See, now look. Now you can see the probing action of the beak. Sitting there, chin spot battis just above it. Female chin spot battis. This is so cool. See how that beak is used, and what a brilliant adaptation it is. There you go, probing into the holes in the trees, a very long, sticky tongue like an aardvark. That is really cool, everyone. So often you talk about these things, but it's quite difficult to imagine what I mean when I say a probing beak. Up a bit, he's still there. There he is. There we are. And just digging underneath the bark into the holes that the woodpeckers have drilled. Oh, that's so cool. And look how he's able to hang upside down. Incredible strength in those tarsals. That's the muscles in the feet. You can see what a brilliant adaptation that beak is, and how few birds have that and are able to do what he's doing now. Yeah, caught another one. Ah, so cool. See, sharpening the beak, cleaning it off. You obviously, if your beak is so important to your catching food, and it's so specific the things that you like to eat, that you have to maintain its integrity. You've got to be careful about breaking it, I imagine. Such a clever shape. Hello, X-Ranger. Dave, any idea how many birds you have on your bird list?
I'm afraid I've lost count.
You mean it's so numerous that you can no longer count it?
Indeed.
So basically, X-Ranger, he's given up on his bird list. You know, it's the millennials, X-Ranger. They don't stick to anything these days. Davey, there are going to be 2 scimitables here now, right here, on the same tree. This is fantastic. This is Scimmitable City. X-Ranger, we must ask Eggsy what his bird list is like. When I left for Kenya, it was chickens, lilac-breasted rollers, and brown-hooded kingfisher, I think. I think there may have been a hornbill and a grey go-away bird there too. Dennis, interesting question. You say that you heard a striped kingfisher on the dam cam. Now, I know we have seen them, but I haven't seen one since I've been at Djuma, Dennis, so I'd be fascinated to know if you... I mean, just keep an eye on that damn camera. I certainly haven't heard them, but that's really nice to know, Dennis. Thank you. We can certainly try and find them. Look, he's pulling out grubs there. Grubs, of course, being the larval forms of beetles. Cutworms, we used to call them as kids. All, of course, mixed in with the dulcet tones of a hammer going in the camp. Wonderful. Oh, you can't hear the hammer. That's really good. I'm surprised because it's all I can hear. Okay, maybe we should press on from here, David. Let's go towards the Mvubu Road hyena den and see what we can see there. There we are. It was a really nice sighting. Unusual. Skimmitable. So named for its skimmitter shaped. What is this for? Would you like me to clean this? David is a bit OCD about the state of the monitor here, and he gets very upset. So what he did was he just draped this over the seat there and looked at it, as if to say, "Don't you want to just take the dust off there?" Okay, we'll pop past the Gallagher waterhole as well. Hello, Virginia and Kentucky. You want to know where a grey go-away bird nests? Well, it nests in a tree. I think it's a fairly untidy, sort of stickish type nest. I'm just going to check for you exactly on my bird app. But I think it's a fairly untidy nest of sticks, about sort of 6-7 feet off the ground. That's my recollection anyway. Go away bird. No, not going to be there. Family list. Let me look under Taraco. Taraco. There we are. There we are. Breeding. Monogamous and occasionally breeds with nest helpers. Nest a shallow and flimsy unlined platform of twigs. So an unlined, untidy platform of twigs in a tree. Go ahead. Jamie is hailing me on the radio.
Did you drive Zoe this morning?
Negative, I did not. She's got tracks of a female leopard on Zoe's road. I'm pretty sure it's Shadow from last night though. Now let us. Ah yes, and it could, as Louise is saying, that it could have been the leopard seen at the dam cam yesterday evening, identified as Chila. Is that correct? Chila, daughter of Nsele and granddaughter of the mystery leopard Salaeshe, who I have yet to meet. So that's well possible. And Chris Rogue, thank you very much for those updates. As always, your sharp eye for the dam cam, much appreciated every morning. I'd love to know how you identified her, Chris, if you're still online. It'd be just nice to know what identifying markers you used to get her, because I don't think I've seen her either. Not easy to identify animals on the dam cam, and it amazes me how accurate Chris Rogue especially is at doing those things. There is nothing at the Galago pan, but I just wanted to stop here quickly and tell you that spread around over this seemingly barren piece of land is a massive amount of fertilizer from elephants and buffalo and kudu and impala and nyala. Probably even the odd scrub hare. So I suspect when the rain falls on this clearing, well, if you happen to be a seed lucky enough to have escaped the attentions of the blue waxbill, you will be very happy in the conditions in which you find yourself. Oh, I have hit that stump, everyone. Maybe 780 times since I've been here. We'll head down to the Mvuburo den, but before that we'll just have a look at this duiker. You'll see it, David. It is lurking. Don't look it directly in the eye. It will know that you have seen it and run away. See, I told you. There we are. With her little unicorn. Good morning, Mrs. Duiker. Yes. She's got hiccups. See that? Look at that. It's got a duiker's got hiccups. That's hilarious. She seems to have stopped them now. Probably had a heavy Friday night, Dave. Tis the weekend after all. Oh, there we go. Alright, let's head across to Jamie Patterson and find out about those leopard tracks that she's tracking, and we'll head to the Mvuburo hyena den.
Lovely to hear that James has decided to go and check the hyena den. And just while I've been tracking this leopard, just on the subject of hyenas, one is definitely making its way back towards the direction of either the Galago shortcut den or the Mvuburo den. So, as James has updated you, we've got fresh-ish female leopard tracks. I say fresh-ish because they've been stepped on by both the hyenas and a herd of zebra that at some point has wandered along this road, which is a nice way, excuse me, it's a nice way of aging the footprints that we see in the sand and getting an idea of when this animal walked in this direction. What's interesting is that they come almost from where we had all of the action last night. Now, of course, we got that update about Inchila, which I think means tail, unless I'm very much mistaken, a female leopard that I have not yet encountered, the granddaughter of Saleeshe, the daughter of Insele, and she's been seen once, I think, on these live safaris by Brent on Buffelshoek Cutline, not terribly long ago, probably about a month ago. A young female looking to see if she can find herself a territory. She was seen drinking at the dam camera last night. I don't know that these are her tracks. It's all a bit confusing. Did we have a 6th leopard player in the drama last night? Did she perhaps go and follow the noises to investigate what was happening? Leopards are curious creatures. They often go and pop themselves into a lion kill or whatever happens to be happening just to investigate. They know that they're pretty safe, they're pretty quick. They don't have any compunction about being curious and investigating. So it could be her walking all the way along this road. She did deposit, whoever it may be, she did deposit some scat in the road a little bit further back, but I'm not picking it up because I don't know which leopard it is that we're tracking. She's gone off the road now into a very, very thick block. So the question is, I mean, it's difficult. The trail is running cold. It's been running cold for hours. It might be tricky to track down, but we're going to give it a go anyway. Since James is on his way to check the hyena dens, I might help him out. Since my tracks seem to be heading in the direction of Aubrey's Road, I might go and assist him there just by popping my nose into that particular den site. Only if he doesn't get there first, though, of course. Because I think she's gone off in that general direction. So if it was Inchila that left those footprints, she was drinking at the pan, which is in this direction, at 10 o'clock last night. And that might as well be days ago. In terms of leopard tracking, you kind of need to be right there, hot on their tail. I'm trying to stop for these magpie shrikes, but they keep eluding me. That's a tricky position. Come on. They were so nice and out and in the open when I first saw them. And since we've been enjoying some time with scimitar bulls and other such birds with James on quarantine, thought we might like to join in. But that is definitely not the best sighting of a magpie shrike we've ever had, is it, Brian? Some lovely leaves, though. Beautiful silver cluster leaf. There's our magpie shrike. This is why I stopped. I think it actually has something in its bill. But it keeps... there we go. It's definitely got something. It's got some kind of breakfast. It's just choosing to enjoy it where we can't quite see it. And I'm guessing by its actions that it has something with a sting or potential sting on it. Because it's currently scraping it along the branch and being quite gentle with it. There you go. You can see just a peak of something. It's managed to catch some kind of insect. Well done, magpie shrike. Life's a bit tricky at the moment because the insects are not around. It does look like it was some kind of hornet or something similar. Let me go. Which way is going to be best? Forward, maybe. Let's just go see what it is. Oh no, don't go backwards now. You okay there, Brian? What you got? I think that looks like some kind of stinging insect. Hard to see exactly what it was. Maybe one of the hornets or bee species. Oh, bye-bye. Decided that it wants to go off and enjoy its breakfast in peace, which is fair enough. We'll let it carry on. So that was a magpie shrike, also known as a long-tailed shrike. For those of you more familiar with the older bird names of South Africa, those of course have changed over the course of the last few years. Do we have turkeys in South Africa? No, not as well. Yes, we do. In farming situations, I remember being terrorized by a turkey once when I was a child. But no wild occurring turkeys. The closest thing in terms of game birds is probably things like guinea fowl and francolin. Right, we're going to continue on looking for where this lovely female leopard has gone, whoever she may be. Let's go and see what's happening with James's hyena den examination.
Now, you've come across here for a moment of discovery and hopefully not a moment of disappointment. We're now approaching the den site, where if I see anything I shall begin whooping for joy in a quiet and careful fashion, because we don't want to frighten any hyenas away. Well, I don't see nothing here. Do you, David? No. I think this is as abandoned as the Chernobyl bomb site. That said, let me just pull in here a little bit. The first thing to do now, of course, is check on the floor for tracks. There are lion tracks around. Sorry, yes, of course, as Louise is very kindly pointing out to me, Chernobyl was a reactor meltdown site, not a bomb site. That's what I meant. Thank you, Louise, so much for that. We're just looking here to see if there aren't any kind of obvious pieces of evidence to suggest that there has been much activity. Now, I can't see any tracks here, so what I'm going to do is get out of the car and have a look. David, if I'm devoured by a hyena, you may have my camera.
Thanks, Dave.
Will you keep me posted on whether the audio is maintaining?
I shall.
Yes. Now, let's go and look. If there is a young cub inside here, this will be perfectly fine, because it will just stay there. So what I want to do is just check if there aren't any adult tracks around the holes here. Any evidence of fresh excavation. But there are not. No, there are leaves covering the entrance to this hole. No, there's no activity here at all. You're still hearing me, are you, David? What a joy. No, I'm afraid it seems to be unoccupied. It is a very salubrious neighborhood. My second favourite of the hyena dens. My first favourite is the next one we'll go to, which is the one on Gallagher Shortcut, not too far from here. Directly, probably only about 400 meters or a quarter of a mile from where we're now sitting. There are no tracks at all. None. So a slight moment of disappointment there, David, rather than a moment of discovery, everyone. Okay, on we go. Okay. So Chris Rogue, thank you for that. You say you managed to identify Nchila by a triangle-shaped arrangement of spots above her left eye? Right eye, above her right eye, and a question mark shaped spot on her cap. Thank you very much for that, Chris. That's very useful information. I'm pretty sure, given where Shadow has gone and where she was last night, that the tracks that Jamie's got are probably exactly that leopard, Nchila. I wonder why she's pushing south this way. Anyway, let's go and find out how that tracking expedition is going. I will see you at the Gallagher Shortcut den.
tracking expedition has petered out, I'm afraid, in that I've completely lost where her tracks have disappeared off to. Gut instinct, more than anything else, tells me that it was Nchila that was walking along the road, and I know she went to the pan from there. The question is, where did she go after that? I'm going to leave Aubrey's Road then. Since the tracks don't come this way, I'll let James check Aubrey's Road as well, since he's on his hyena den mission. I'll let him check Aubrey's Road. I just want to check the junction quickly. I have to show you something because it's really cute. It's not leopard tracks, but they may be the tiniest zebra tracks I've ever seen in my entire life. Hold on one moment. See if we can get them. They're so tiny they look like little antelope tracks. Cute! That must be the minute, smallest zebra in the world. Okay, I'm going to jump out to show you, to give you a sense of scale. So a zebra is an odd-toed ungulate. So unlike our even-toed antelope, it has an odd number of toes, in this case 1. Quiz time. What is the other odd-toed ungulate that you might find in South Africa? Not necessarily here, just in South Africa in general. And how many toes does it have, as a matter of interest? Right, so on to our... Oh dear, this is bad timing. Oh well, they'll just have to wait for us. On to our odd-toed ungulate track. In this case, it is a zebra. Honestly, this is the tiniest little track. Here's its little toe. In fact, I don't even want to mess it up. It's so cute. Here's its little toe here. Little, tiny, 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 tiny little hoof. Those of you with horses, you kind of know roughly how big a horse track is. Zebra tracks are a little bit smaller, but this little one, I mean really, that's ridiculous. It is minute. This little zebra must have... Just picture its little tiny skinny legs. And little tiny strides. If we look at how big its steps are, it stepped here, and then the next step was here. So very wobbly little tracks, wandering along. I mean, this is a very small stride length. You're probably talking about a zebra that's yay big. I mean, that's going to be very, very small. Alright, I suppose I better move out of the way for the people trying to come through. I'm trying to see if it's Peter Braat or if it's Mr. Voz. I'm not sure exactly who it may be. Well, that could have been unpleasant. I'm glad I saved myself from that. That would have been hugely unpleasant. Right, well, spared that indignity. Should we go track down a baby zebra? Might be quite fun. I really want to see how big this zebra is now. Which way are you going? Well, they're going up Aubrey's Road. Oh, well, we absolutely have to go and track down these zebra, because it is Ken in Oklahoma's birthday. He's 71 years young and would very much like to see a zebra. Well, there you go, Ken. That's what we shall do. Brian and myself shall devote the rest of our time. Cheers, Pete. Sorry, he's right behind us, otherwise we'd show him to you, but he's sort of difficult. Oh, there he goes. Bye-bye. Bye, Pete. Ken, in that case... Brian and myself are going to devote our time and our energies to tracking down a herd of zebra, which I have to tell you is a first for me, Ken, but let us see what we can do. And I can tell you right now, we are on the wrong track, because they've gone off the road towards Sandy Patch. Now let us turn around and go and search for Ken's special birthday zebra. They'll have dressed up specially for you, Ken, in their special stripy outfits. My gut instinct, by the way, just in terms of animals in outfits and our lovely leopards, my gut instinct is that Nchila is either along the boundary of Buffelshoek or she's gone towards Simbambili. I don't have a good grounding for saying that, except that she spent a lot of time in that area. Michael, I'm not quite sure which pregnant zebra or who you saw the pregnant zebra with, but yes, it probably could be. If it was in this general area, it could well be that that pregnant zebra has given birth and that this is her little one. I mean, with tracks not much larger than my thumb, okay, slight exaggeration, just a little bit larger than my thumb, that's a very, very young zebra. It's a newborn, fluffy zebra. You can just picture it in your mind with its wobbly long legs and all kinds of things. It's a baby. It's a very tiny baby. So yes, it could be a baby that's only a couple of days old. We'll have to track it down, or try and track it down. I think this is the first time I've ever tried to track a zebra herd. They might be on their way to Sydney's dam for water. I'm trying to think where they might want to go. We've seen the zebra herd moving around this area. Oh, are they back on the road? Nope. Lots of hyena tracks though. We've seen the zebra herd here a lot. And they generally have not fixed home ranges. They're not territorial in any way. But they usually have areas that they move about in on a regular basis. And there's usually a couple around Impala clearings. And very well done to James, Richard and Kyle, who have answered the question that I forgot I asked in the first place. So very well done. Thank you for remembering that. My mind apparently is like a sieve at the moment. But you are absolutely 100% correct. It is indeed the rhinoceros that has an odd number of toes. We had one other answer that was from, well, that was a carpy, and I'm going to explain that in a moment. Let's just stop and have a look. Oh, bye-bye. And that's why you should always... That's why we always stop and look at Steenbok. Right, so it's not an okapi. Okapi has, I think, or as far as I know, is an even-toed ungulate. But I might have to check that. No, it must be an even-toed ungulate, similar to a giraffe. So well done for those of you who got rhino. I'm going to go and track down Ken's birthday zebra. In the meantime, let's jump on board with James, find out how his hyena den checking is going.
Tracking down a zebra foal is a very, very brave task to have undertaken. Well, if anyone can do it, Jamie can. And hopefully those hyenas, the tracks of which Jamie's been seeing, are either going to be here, hopefully here at Gallagher Shortcut, and hopefully without a zebra foal. David, what are you sticking together?
Just a screw that's biting me.
I see. David is sticking a screw together that's biting him. This is what I have to deal with, everyone, on a daily basis. Insanity. It's really amazing how open this place is. I think it's gotten more open since I was last here. Hello Donald, very good question from you in New York. You say, why don't we track the hyena instead of just checking den spots? Donald, it's because they move so very far and their clan territories are very large. And if the den site on the property in which you're working is not active, it's highly likely that by this time of the day, the hyenas would have moved off. And so yes, while you could absolutely track the hyenas, they will probably be towards the den site, wherever that happens to be at this time of the day. And the time taken to, careful everyone, to go and check the den sites substantially less than actually trying to track a hyena, which can move up to 50 kilometers in a night. That's 35 miles. This den site is inactive. The hyenas don't like us anymore, David. They are sick and tired of us. The last time I was here, you couldn't see down that way. It was all kind of closed up, but now it's very open on account of the elephants and the dry season / drought. Now the other thing we're hoping to have again, possibly over here, is in that big hole on the left hand side, Dov. there, there were some pygmy kingfishers that were nesting inside that hole at the same time as the little baby hyenas were in there. And that was quite fun to see. But I don't see any kingfishers, nor do I see hide nor hair of hyenas. Let's go and look inside there. Once again, David, you know the deal. You can have my camera if I'm devoured. We sold at a pawn shop for not very much. And what I'm looking for here again is any kind of evidence of scuffing up of the soil, any tracks, no tracks. This looks like it's perhaps been occupied briefly by warthogs. No, nothing in there. But this, I think, is the most salubrious hyena den. You can see a very pretty scotia tree or weeping boerbean tree on top of the den. That's that one there. And this is where, if I was a hyena, this is where I would dwell. I think that they're still either on Buffelshoek or in Zimbabwe. That's my thought on the matter. It's getting quite warm, isn't it, David? Phew. I'll have to remove my jersey shortly. Wendy shouldn't, at least Rusty shouldn't be revving quite that high, should she? There we are. Okay, on we go. That's quite interesting. So Jamie says she reckons that every hyena in the world has walked along Sandy Patch Road today. So that's over there. It might be worth going to the Mvubura, at least the Albury's Road den. So let's go around there, see if we don't see anything that side. Otherwise, I think what that Sandy Patch thing indicates is that they are probably in Buffelshoek on a den site there. And because Buffelshoek isn't occupied all the time and people don't always drive around there, it's quite possible that the den site has gone completely unnoticed for the last few months. It could also be on Simbambalai, but I feel like the Simbambalai guys would have found the den site because they do spend a lot of time driving around there. Big bump coming up on the right, Dave. Nothing we can do. We made it. Good. Phew. Stoic fellow. There we go. Hello, Toxigenic. You have a very appropriate name for the question you've asked. You want to know why hyenas would leave a den site at all, ever? Toxigenic, they would leave a den site because they become toxic. They become toxic, well, not so much toxic, as slightly unpleasant from the amount of muck that the babies leave. So they obviously go to the loo all over the place, and they bring bits and pieces of meat and bone back, and eventually that starts to breed parasites, and they will then move dens. The other thing that makes them move dens is other predator pressure. So if lions come past quite regularly towards a den site, or perhaps use a path past a den site quite regularly, then the hyenas will move on. Okay, let's go across to Jamie, find out if she has managed to shed any further light on the whereabouts of that poor little zebra foal.
I'm afraid no light can be shed on the whereabouts of that adorable little zebra foal that is presumably somewhere around here. Ken, I have searched high and low, or at least I've searched low, in that I have... Oh goodness, no wonder that was so uncomfortable. There's a thorny branch in the car with me. I have searched for the zebra. They haven't come out of the vegetation that they disappeared into. And of course, since we're not off-roading for all animals, it means that our search for now, well, not maybe just for that zebra, has ended, but I promise you I will continue to keep an eye out for any zebra that happen to pop out. And there's a chance that they're on their way towards Sydney's Dam, which is one of the few remaining water sources in this area. But their tracks haven't come out onto the road just yet, so I think they're still in the process of making their way in this direction. As James has updated you, all of our hyenas appear to have come from Sydney's Dam or from the Manuleti, this corner of the area. I've heard rumours that they're denning in Dixie Koppies, which is in Manuleti, but there's no tracks going back just yet. So there's a chance that at least if they're not, they might still be denning this side, but there is a chance that they are still on Djuma somewhere. What are those animals all the way over there? Are they buffalo or are they wildebeest? Wildebeest, must be. Let's have a look-see. There we go, it's wildebeest. Remember when we used to have a huge herd wandering about Quarantine and Zoe's Road? Now it feels like we hardly ever see them. It appears they've abandoned us for Manuleti as well. Most devastating. Perhaps they'll decide to come back once the rains come and there's a bit more grass. This could even be that herd. I mean, it's impossible for us to say. All the youngsters are almost adult-sized now, and they are, of course, incredibly far away, so difficult to see. But it has been a long time since we've seen a wildebeest herd come wandering back onto Djuma, or it feels like a long time. Other than that, I'm afraid to say, with great disappointment, there are no zebra here. We'll have to continue on. Let's go and find some zebra. That is my mission for this morning's drive, is to find Ken some zebra. Just go forward a little bit. Just don't want to take everything for granted, or anything for granted. You never know what might be hiding around the shade of a dam or a waterhole. It might be a mystery lion sleeping around somewhere, or a cheetah, or you never know, wild dogs. Just throwing it out there just in case. Although I doubt the wildebeest would be looking as relaxed as they are. No, I think all is quiet at Sydney's Dam. Nope. Okay. Well, we'll carry on. There must be zebra somewhere here. And then I think for the last few moments of the sunrise safari, I'm going to go back to where that kill was, and we can have a look at what transpired last night and see whether or not there's any evidence as to who got the final meal. My suspicion is that it is the hyenas. We heard them whooping at the end of that sighting yesterday, calling in the reinforcements. Because of course Corky was not prepared to take on 3 wild dogs on her own, and we can hardly blame her for that, but she was definitely interested in calling in the rest of the clan to provide her with some numbers support. And it seems as though, judging by the tracks that have come all the way from the Manuleti, the clan was happy to oblige her. They came racing in, including Bella, who we saw this morning. Dearie me, it seems as though... oh goodness, branches everywhere. It seems as though James's hyena den search is not providing us with any more information, because unfortunately it looks as though Aubrey's Road is quiet too, but you don't have to take my word for it. Jump on board with James and have a look for yourselves.
You should always take Jamie's word for it, she never lies. I am on Aubrey's, and I'm investigating where there are no hyenas yet again. Hello? 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 No. No hyenas there, but there are those odd flies that are associated with the burrow of the aardvark. And also very little vegetation in entrance there, so maybe there is an aardvark living in there. This one also looks slightly more freshly excavated. There are feathers. Feathers? Bits of hair here. I think probably some time ago by a hyena. Breaking up. Now?
Now you're good.
Okay. So, interesting stuff. Not sure what's going on here, but I can tell you that there are no hyenas. Ah. This is why it looks like there's cotton there. This is Gossypium herbaceum, the wild cotton. It is quite soft and flammable. Have you got any kind of fire implement with you?
I may do, yes.
May I borrow it?
One moment.
Ah, thank you so much. Now, let's do it here, David. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see it there?
Perfect, yes.
It's not actually as flammable as I thought it was. Less flammable than my hand. Interesting. Anyway, that is the wild cotton, Gossypium herbaceum, and inside there, of course, are the seeds. And I don't know if you've ever picked cotton before, but if you ever had to work on a cotton plantation, for example, apparently your hands got extremely calloused, because when you pull these things off the flowers, the seeds inside can cut you. And the seeds are just in here. And the seed, of course, is obviously useless to the production of cotton, but it makes more cotton plants. And I think that they have the cotton around them so that they can fly in the wind. Okay, that wasn't a particularly successful fire experiment, wasn't it? A little bit embarrassing, actually. Not quite as embarrassing as every single time I've tried to light the torchwood. It seems to be less flammable than asbestos. A bit of an anticlimax. Thank you, Louise, for that. Yappy Buddy. You say, could this possibly be a caracal's den? No. Oh, Putty. Yutty. Butty? Yutty. Louise. It's leaving me hanging here. Yutty what? Yutty Buddy. Right, okay, Yutty Buddy. You say, could it be a caracal den? Yutty Buddy? No, it couldn't be a caracal den. They would might den in a culvert or something, a bit like a leopard. It's unlikely that they would den in a termite mound like that, especially one that smelt of hyena and it was very obviously on a game path, clearly used by hyena quite frequently. I think it's much too obvious a place for a caracal to go. They would use very much similar sort of den sites to a leopard, so in a drainage line, in the thick bush, underneath some very thick trees and that sort of thing. So no, I think it's very unlikely that it has anything to do with the caracal. Alright, our plan now, we're going to go back out onto the Biffel's cut line and we're going to head off towards the east. Yeah, and Lauren, very good question from you. You say, how often do we see the smaller cats like caracals and African wildcats and servals? Those would be the three that we see here. Almost never. We've seen one African wildcat, I think, on Safari Live. Certainly while I've been here. Jamie had a very long sighting with an African wildcat. We've seen a few servals. Dave and I had a very nice serval sighting one evening. And Brent also saw an African wildcat. But no, they're not common at all. But servals, I would say, of those 3 cats, serval's the most common. I think caracal may have been seen once, but very unusual. And for those of you who don't know, a caracal looks like a sort of impala or chestnut coloured lynx. You know, those funny ear tufts. See, if I was playing charades, David, and I did this, you know that I meant caracal or lynx. Yes. Okay. Right, we're going to head along the Biffles or cut line. Let's go and find out where Jamie's going from where she is now, wherever that may be.
While James travels along the northern boundary of Juma, we're travelling sort of not quite on the western boundary, but pretty close to that general area. Still looking for zebra. The strangest way is just, well, one of the more unusual ways I've spent my morning trying to track down an animal. And unfortunately, I don't think our zebra have popped out where we can see them, so I'm going to go and search for a different herd for Ken's birthday and see if we can't find them there. But I am gradually making my way back towards where that impala kill was, because I have a sneaky suspicion that our hyenas haven't gone back to their den just yet. I think they've decided after a busy night that perhaps they might go and rest up in the shade somewhere. So we might encounter them somewhere along the way, between the den site in the northwestern corner and the kill in the southwestern corner. They might be somewhere in between there. And of course all kinds of other things in between, potentially. And of course I was really hoping to find that tiny little zebra with its minute little feet. And Franken, zebra can breed at any time of the year. So yes, they don't particularly have a breeding season, although you will find that there is a peak of zebra births towards the summer months, which makes total sense. There's more grass because it's our rainy season. Therefore there's more food for lactating mums, pregnant and lactating mums. So they have more successful births in the summer months. But they can and do breed all year round. I'm impressed that this female's managed to carry a foal to full term. It is very, very difficult going for our zebra at the moment. You know, they're bulk grazers, and as you will have noticed, most of you know by now, I mean, there's not really much in the way of grass. It's really scary. I've never seen the bush look like this I've never seen it look like this. It's so incredibly dry. I mean, how on earth an animal is meant to pick a living out of this stuff? I really don't know. They're quite phenomenal that they can actually manage to do it. I mean, look at it, it's nothing. Which is fine for mixed feeders, like the elephants, or perhaps some of the browsers, mixed feeders like impala. But when you're a zebra that relies on grass, well, it's impressive that they manage to keep themselves going as they do. Let's go and find some zebra. The wonderful thing about the zebra's family structure is that, sort of like an elephant, but not quite, the whole herd is involved in its protection. Now, foals do get quite badly injured by other females. Female zebra are quite aggressive. They'll often kick and bite at a foal that doesn't know its place or that mistakes them for its mother. But the stallion is exceptionally protective. Now, I've seen situations where one particular sighting comes to mind where hyenas had killed. I'm just going to see what you're fussing about. A bird chirp, a lapwing somewhere here. Have you got babies with you? Or have you got a nest? What was all that fuss about? There's probably a nest site somewhere here. Although if we were closer, or if we were close to it, that lapwing would be making even more of a fuss. Don't see any little ones. Okay. False alarm. I thought perhaps we were close to some little baby lapwings, but no luck. Oh yes, this zebra sighting. Hyenas killed a zebra foal and they dragged it into a dam. And the stallion was desperate to try and rescue this poor foal. The foal was dead, and the stallion just kept coming back and back and back and then getting chased off by the hyenas. It was tragic to watch, but it was very impressive in terms of the protectiveness of a male over his females and his babies. So they will often, even at risk of their own lives, zebra will go back and attempt to save a foal in distress. Sure, lots and lots of elephant damage at the moment. Branches and trees in the road all over the place. Come on, Brian, we've got to find some zebra. This area usually has some of them wandering around. We might still get lucky, we've got time. There's zebra tracks in the road, so the search continues. And while we track them down, let's head across to James.
We've just come back to where we saw the lions last, everyone, just on the hopes that maybe they'd come out into the open so that we could spend a little bit more time with the cubs. But we haven't found them. But what we have found, David, even you don't know what we found. No, but I'm going to tell you. We have found a perfectly camouflaged grey go-away bird sitting upon a grey and very dead hopthorn tree. Can you say, it's so camouflaged, can you see it? Keep looking, David. It is on the tree, you are in the right vicinity, you're getting warmer. There we are. That's actually quite a nice sort of simple colour juxtaposition there of grey and blue. A spring fashion, wouldn't you say, David? Yes. And that poor, poor grey go-away bird, of course the least colourful of the turricos. And yet, ooh, Dave, just above it, can you see the bird flying there? I believe it to be a Wahlberg's eagle. It is! Is that our second Wahlberg's? No, it isn't. I'm talking absolute nonsense. It's a tawny eagle, everybody. It's got a thicker tail, and it's not so uniformly coloured on the back of the wings. We could also, of course, expect fairly soon to see a lesser spotted eagle, but I think to make a call like that from this distance is beyond my confidence at this stage. We'll go with tawny, quite possibly the same one that we saw above the lion kill. We're not too far from there now. So peaceful, as I've said to you a few times, it's the most peaceful thing in the world to sit and watch a bird like that flying. Oh, he's gone, Dave. No, he's not. He's still there. It's the wrong tree. Okay, let's carry on. So quite a sad bird, the grey go-away bird. Not much to eat here in the way of fruit at the moment, and all the others are so beautifully colourful. Hello, Justin. You say, what is one sighting that I shall probably never forget? Well, I think there are probably many that I will never forget. Let's try and find a Juma one, which I've seemed to have forgotten all of them at the moment. Oh, well, I mean, the most obvious Juma one would be that incredible sighting that Andrew and I had of the wild dogs on foot. That was just too spectacular. So that was great. I will remember always my first sighting of Shadow. I was on my own. It was my third or fourth day here, and I went for a little walk. Scott and Brent were driving, and I went for a little walk and managed to find her. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't much of a tracking expedition, but we did manage to find her, and that was just wonderful. Being alone on foot with an animal is very special indeed. What else would stick out for me here? I think those are probably the two that stick out for me the most. Also, those times that we spent with Sindile on foot before he went into rehab, those were special, because a young male leopard on foot is just great fun, because they're quite inquisitive, they're not nervous, they're not dangerous, and so when young Hosanna grows up a little bit, I think he's going to be much fun on foot. Shongile, she's just going to ignore us and be a bit like her mother from the beginning. This is where the lions went in. Or is it? No, they went in just a little further on. We'll put our noses over the edge of the drainage just to see. Oops. But I suspect quite strongly that the bush is simply too thick for us to have any sight of the lions. But were you to go walking through this area, well, then you'd see some very angry kitties, I suspect. No one wants to see an angry kitty, David. No. It's very scary. Distressing, in fact. Here... Oh! Jamie has managed to find some zebra. I wonder if the little one is with her.
No sign of the little one, but happy birthday to Ken, who specifically requested zebra for his birthday, and I'm very, very glad that we were able to provide them eventually. It took us a little bit of searching. These two are having a bit of a niggle with each other. Whoa. And some not so friendly nips and bites. Probably two young males, although I wouldn't put it past the females to fight with each other either. So happy, happy birthday, Kenneth. I'm glad that you are spending it watching Safari Live. I hope that you have a lovely day. And there we are. We have some zebra for you. I very much doubt it is the herd with the tiny baby, as we are now in completely the opposite direction. But nevertheless, lovely to see. They're playing hard to get at the moment, giving us a good demonstration of how they disappear behind the trees. Now, just talking about our little baby zebra. Michael, good morning to you, and as always, welcome to the Sunrise Safari. Yes, zebra can have twins, but it is very, very rare. So it's unusual. Horses have twins as well every now and again. But it is something that is definitely on the rare side of things. Now, like giraffe and elephant, twins are possible, but unusual. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever encountered a zebra with twins. What does sometimes happen is it looks like they've got twins because one zebra foal gets confused. They're not very, you always talk about the bonding between the mother and the foal in the beginning. But I have seen zebra foals get confused and think that a wildebeest is its mother on more than one occasion. So often little foals will confuse their mother with other zebras, and then it might look like the female has two foals. But when it comes down to suckling, you'll know very certainly which one is hers and which one is not, because she does not make mistakes, even if the babies do. They are definitely playing hard to get. Come this way, zebbies, please. More into the open. These are also the chaps. This is definitely the herd that walked all over my female leopard tracks earlier. They really are beautiful animals, and we definitely should never take them for granted. We've had so many wonderful big cat and predator sightings over the last few days, but it is lovely to just stop and enjoy the piece that is a member of the general game species. Wandering slowly through, desperately trying to find a nice patch of grass. We've already had this conversation, but you can just imagine how unpleasant it is for them. One thing that they have to their advantage is that their digestive systems work incredibly quickly, which means that they process the grass that they eat fast, and that means they can just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat until they've essentially got what they need from the food that they've eaten. A zebra, as opposed to a wildebeest, which is of a similar weight, will probably eat about twice, or need to eat at least twice, what the wildebeest eats, because they don't have the 4 stomachs. But on the other side of the coin, the process is a great deal faster. Trying to think if I can reposition to get us a better view.
standing by after Fusion update.
And Dino Sniper, on the subject of our little zebra foals and them getting confused, you wanted to know why it is they get confused. I think it's just they're little and they haven't quite developed the sensory pathways in their brains yet. They haven't quite bonded with their mothers. There's always the story that zebra foals imprint on the stripes of the shoulder of their mothers because that's sort of their head height. I've yet to see good evidence of that. I have seen so many zebra foals get confused. And we always talk about how tightly bonded little ones are to the smell of their mothers. I think it's more that the mothers know the smell and the call of their own babies in this case, and the foals not the other way around. I mean, if you've ever experienced very young puppies or kittens, or presumably small children, but my area of expertise is not in the area in small children, but puppies or kittens, you'll notice that in those initial first few weeks of life, and the same applies for a zebra, they don't really register what's going on beyond their immediate, very small little sphere right in front of them. And zebra are the same. The only difference is that they have to, for survival purposes, be able to walk and run almost as soon as they are born, so that they can escape predators. And they've got that instinct. But I saw a zebra foal in the Kruger National Park when I was there with Brent in, I don't know when it was, I think it was March. I saw a zebra foal follow wildebeest away from the rest of the herd. It was chaotic. It was all around a waterhole. And this poor little zebra foal went off with the wildebeest herd and we never saw it again. Poor mom was standing there calling frantically, trying to get her baby back. And the foal just disappeared. Kind of, are you my mom? It's a sort of a view. It's really tricky. No, he's going to move straight out of the way. Thank you very much, Mr. Zebra. Would you mind not doing that? There you go. Best view ever. I promise you that zebra was out in the open when I stopped the car. Right, Andrew, how fast can a zebra run? How fast can a zebra run? Fast is the answer, and for a much longer time period than one of our predators. So at top speed, it will probably hit close to about 70 kilometers an hour, which I'm going to ask you to do the mile conversion for yourself, if that is the way that you are so inclined. About 70 odd kilometers per hour. Possibly even faster at a serious sprint. And they are natural athletes, but bear in mind a lot of the time a zebra will actually choose to stand and fight, unless it's a pride of lions that they're being hunted by. They're very strong and very athletic animals. Ignacio, welcome, a name that I have not heard before. Lovely to hear your question coming through. Ignacio, the shadow stripes is what we call them. Ignacio is asking about the stripes between the darker stripes on a plain zebra's bottom, whether or not it is reminiscent of the quagga days. Very well spotted. Let's go. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm struggling to find you a good view here, so you'll just have to take this one for now. The shadow stripes are very, very distinctive of plain zebra, which is this particular species of zebra. The mountain zebra, the Grevy zebra do not have them. They're not made of dust. They are naturally occurring stripes. Some have more than others. And yes, you are right in your connection to the quagga. The quagga is was genetically a subspecies of the Burchell's or the plain zebra, which is what we're looking at the moment. And you'll see with each and every individual zebra, some have more stripes than others. Some shadow stripes are clearer. And basically what happened with the quagga is a small population of Burchell's or plain zebra. It's the same thing. Burchell's is the old name. Was geographically isolated at some point in not too distant history, a couple of tens of thousands of years ago. And as a result, it started to favor that very strange mixture that is a quagga that kind of looks like a half horse and half zebra. But it's not a half horse and half zebra, it is pure zebra, just a genetic abnormality. There's a project in Cape Town that is devoted. There you go, that one's got beautifully clear shadow stripes. between the thick stripes of the rump and the back. Perfect. So yes, there's a project in the Western Cape that is attempting to recreate the quagga, which is an interesting process. And Dino Sniper while we watch our zebra nibble away. Zebra travel with wildebeest for the same reason that all general game species will often travel together, although the relationship between wildebeest and zebra is quite close. So basically it's called an aggregation of general game species, and it's because there's more ears and more eyes to look out for things. However, generally, wildebeest and zebra feed off the same species of grass, but different parts of the grass. So back to our discussion about digestive systems, a zebra is more robust. They can deal with poor quality or different parts of the grass than the wildebeest can. They just eat more of it. So they chomp away at the top without any real discrimination, and the wildebeest come along and pick around closer to the base of the grasses that the wildebeest have already mown. That the zebra have already mown, and nibble away at the base there for the shoots. So they eat different parts of the same material. Well, Ken, I'm glad that we could provide you with a zebra for your birthday. We're going to move off and start wending our merry way home. While we do that, let's go across to James, who has got a ruminant.
Indeed, I've got two kinds of ruminants here, everybody. They're the most beautiful nyala on God's earth, and that is at least the most beautiful antelope on God's earth, I meant, and that is the nyala. And then there are also some impala here, and we're in the glade of the drainage line that feeds out of Beefle's Hook Dam, from which we have not come. We haven't been there yet. We just stopped here underneath this yellowing jackalberry above us. It's very pretty. It's that one there, David, you see?
Yeah.
That one. That one there. See?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
that one. No, that one. Yes, up there. Yes. Very lovely. And I was just saying to David how incredibly peaceful it is sitting here. Now, I don't know how many of you have got the yellow-breasted apellis on your bird list, but if David pushes up the ambient sound, you might hear it calling. There. Stop now, obviously. There. Choop, 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 choop. Can you hear it? Mm-hmm. So that's the yellow-breasted apellis, and I don't know, I'd love to know if any of you have actually got it on your bird lists. And as I forgot to say during my introduction today, #SafariLive or questions@wildearth.tv, if you would like to tell us whether or not you have got the yellow-breasted apellis on your bird list. If you were a twitcher or birder out here, you would definitely count just the call, because it would mean that you have been within the vicinity of the bird. But it's not going to be findable, I'm afraid. And at this stage, we will find you one at some stage. I'd love to know if anyone's got it on their bird list. Let's pop up the hill here towards the Beefle's Hook Dam. I haven't seen it for the last 10 days or so, so I don't know if it's dry. I suspect it's probably completely dry by now. Something of a desert scape. Hello, Nyala. Hello, Caleb. While I congratulate myself for this amazing spot, David, do you see what I see?
what do you see?
Now I want you to hold it together, David. Oh, it's run away. You know what it is? A pig, exactly. It was a pig, everyone. Caleb, you want to know if I've ever told you what my favorite bird is? I have. There was a warthog in there. My favorite bird out here is the white-browed scrub robin, and that is because my favorite bird is the humble Cape robin, which we don't find here. And the Cape robin is my favorite bird, as I've told many of you before, because it used to sing sitting outside the garden tap in the Johannesburg garden flat where I used to live. And when I was feeling down and blue on a winter's morning, it would sing outside my window on the tap and remind me that the wilderness was never too far away. So that's why the Cape Robin is my favourite bird. And you know what? There was a poll done the other day about what was South Africa's favourite bird, and they had such great icons as the fish eagle, the martial eagle, the hardy-dar ibis. I think they may have even had what did they have? Oh, the Cape, or the leopard-faced vulture. And indeed, the winner of the entire poll was the humble Cape Robin. So I was very pleased that my favourite bird was the most favourite bird of the country. Oh right, Jamie's got a raptor that is making for the spring.
Oh, this is such an amazing discovery. I'm so excited. We've got this tiny little goshawk building its nest. And isn't this wonderful news for our future safaris? Because it looks as though this particular little, I think it's actually an African goshawk. I'm just double checking. I'm trying to get an idea as we look. My first thought was lizard buzzard. It's much the same size, but it's not a lizard buzzard. It's lacking that distinctive black patch. Oh, there it goes, underneath the chin. Let's just wait for one moment and see whether or not it decides to come back. And while we do, let me try and find all the little goshawks on my bird book so that we can discuss this. Oh, that's so exciting. It's still got a lot of building to do. It's all sort of, what's the word? It's a bit messy at the moment, that particular nest. But it's obviously committed. It came in with a branch. That's how we spotted it initially. So, which particular little goshawk have we got here? It's not a shikra, because it doesn't have the red eye that a shikra has. Ooh. This bird book's confusing me. It's not my regular one. It's one of the little goshawk species. We'll have to wait for it to come back. It would be nice if it were a shikra, but unfortunately I don't think so. So it was difficult to see in terms of the colouring of the chest. We're looking for red-coloured stripes, or barred throats. It's definitely one of the goshawk family. Come on, come back. Where'd you go? Please come back. Oh, I see it. I see it. It's collecting nest material. Let's just go forward. This is right next to the road. I want to take my eye off it for 1 second. Tiny little thing. Please don't fly, please don't fly, please don't fly. Oh, this is wonderful news because it means that we've found its nest site for the spring. Oh no! Oh no! It flew! Oh, no it didn't. There's two here. There's one right there on the branch there. How awesome is this? So there's number 2, either male or female. So they will build the nest together, as with all birds of prey. I'm pretty sure I'm going with African goshawk here. There's just 2 white patches. Has it got its red eye? I can't see in this bright light. Is this eye red, Brian? Yes. It is reddish. It's definitely not a dark chanting goshawk. It's far too small. Yes, I think we might have a shikra nest. That would be terribly exciting. Oh! X-Ranger has said that I'm channeling Scott, the wonderful Scott Dyson. Look at this. This is fascinating. Breaking off bits of branches to go and build its nest. This is absolutely awesome. It does have a bright red, cherry red eye. It is a shikra nest. Back to the nest we go. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to take us back because of the light. So X-Ranger has said, well, I ran into a tree the other day, which I did in spectacular fashion. It was really quite a poor effort on my part. I was distracted by the lions, and I drove into a tree. Not even a small tree, a big tree. And now I've found a nest. So I must be channeling Scott. X-Rang is right. Oh, look at this. This is fascinating. This whole process of nest building is such a meticulous one. It always looks so incredibly messy. And yet the strength that they put into it is phenomenal. This is a serious business, this nest building. Look at that. Now you really can see the bright red eye. Cherry red. And as our birds of prey start to prepare for spring and the arrival of eggs and chicks, Laurie, yes, the drought has and will have a profound effect on the reproductive sort of cycles of all of the different species. There we go. That's fascinating. I never knew that they actually actively broke open or broke branches off to build their nests. Well done, Brian. Awesome. And yes, Laurie, it does indeed play or have an impact on their reproductive cycle. Sorry, I got distracted there because it flew off. So the herbivores are going to be less successful in their reproduction. They're going to lose, fertilization will be less successful, as well as carrying fetuses to full term. The prey species, or the predator species, which includes birds of prey, could well be more successful, but that's the big birds of prey. The little birds of prey are going to struggle because a lot of, like these little shikras, a lot of their diet is actually dependent on some of the arthropod or insect species that we get out here. And we're going to see less of them being successful as well. So for birds, insect eaters, and for the insects themselves, the drought is going to have a tremendous impact. Come on, get going, mister. You've got lots of nest building to do. Your nest is still relatively non-existent. How cool is this, though? Over the next few months, now that we know where this particular nest is, we'll be able to stop by here every now and again and just see how this pair of little shikras is getting on with life. I'm excited. Very, very excited. I don't know where the second one has gone. Is this one now breaking off branches? Justin, it's an absolute pleasure. Justin says that this is now bird number 33 on his bird list. And we do encourage all of our different viewers to keep a bird list of the different species that we get. You could end up having bird lists well over 200. I know a lot of our viewers do at this point. And as we go into summer, Justin, this is the perfect time to start adding to your list, because we're going to start to see more and more of the returning species as we continue onwards into summer. So the Wahlbergs, eagles, the cuckoos will be coming back with a vengeance, the kingfishers. It's one of my favorite times of the year to just enjoy moments like this. Very exciting. Definitely very exciting. How amazing is that? Lovely information coming through from Sally in Oregon. It is indeed one of my dreams to see the bald eagles, and Sally says a bald eagle's nest is something I need to see. She's seen ones big enough to fit 2 people in them and weighing almost a ton. That sounds tremendously impressive, Sally, and something that I would love to see. I'm afraid our shikra's little nest is not quite up to those standards yet, but aim high, little shikra, aim high. You never know, you might be able to get your nest going, perhaps not quite to the same extent, since our little bird is just a couple of centimeters high, basically around 30 or so odd centimeters. Oh, a tiny little bird. Thank you for that, Sally, and thank you to all of you as well for joining us. I hope you're as excited as I am about this particular bird's nest. This pair set out to add to their nest, we'll be watching them over the next few months. And that, of course, is the joy of Safari Live itself, is that we get all kinds of fantastic stories that we can follow. So a big thank you to Brian for his fantastic camera work as always, as well as to Lou and Kirsty in Final Control. Also saying my goodbyes and my thank yous on behalf of Mr. Hendry, who I'm sure would say that he has loved every moment of this glorious spring morning sunrise safari. Now we'll catch you in just a few short hours for the sunset safari. Bye-bye and have a lovely day or evening wherever you happen to be.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted. Some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible. to get it sorted and get you back on the vehicle with us. Challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back on the vehicle with us.